So if EA made a game about you, what would your highest stat be?
Probably liver resilience. All the booze.
99.
99. No, man, it's like, it goes above it. It's 101. I'd Brock Lesnar it all the way through.
Lesnar liver.
It's fucking, yeah, man. Lesnar liver. Not his legs, though. God. Little tiny child legs. Weird. Given that I am a personality on the internet, I am of course used to being told I suck all kinds of dick by random strangers on the internet, which is why my heart goes out to one Ethan Albright, an NFL player who in 2008 found out that he was objectively the singular worst player in that year's Madden game. Or at least it would if he wasn't so unbelievably chill about the whole thing.
So to be the worst player in the game, what was Albright's ranking?
Well, his overall ranking was 53 out of 100, which made him, as I said, the worst player in the game. As an additional cock slap to him, even shit-tier rookies fresh out of like boot camp that you recruited onto your team would have higher stats, which must have been at least a little bit of a blow to the ego of a 12-year veteran of the sport. Before we continue, can we just address his Madden photo? Because you picked this article based purely on the face he has in that photo, didn't you? Just the complete nonchalance of, yeah, I'm the worst player in the game, and what?
I just love the idea of EA just turning up, right, we're going to take your picture for the game.
And he's like, yeah, do you want to smile? I am smiling, okay? And to whoever edits this, your mission is never put anything over this photo. That photo stays there the entire time we're talking because it's so fucking hilarious. But it reminds me of the World Cup. And do you remember when they had every World Cup player had a little introduction?
Yeah.
Like a 3-second animation and walking into frame and just folding their arms. And I always wondered, were they told to do that? Could they have done something else? And I remember the piss take someone did, where it shows you a few players in a row, then one player comes up and does it, and then another player comes up behind him and hugs him. They're posing a pregnancy photo on Facebook.
My favourite is there's a soccer player, I should say, called Jimmy Bullard. And when it was his turn to do it for Sky, he'd literally do 3 takes, and they were absolutely incredible.
Did he just do it wrong on purpose or something?
Yeah, and there was one bit where he had his shorts literally up below his chest.
Just so I don't know why more players don't do shit like that, because talk about FIFA. I remember where it's Pele is in the game, they always put legendary players in.
Yeah.
And someone discovered that the photo they used for his legend portrait was a cropped photo of him in his hot tub because he couldn't be arsed posing for a new one. So they just put a crop photo of him and crop that on his thing, which makes me think he's that version of Pele that's on your team. He's fresh out of the fucking hot tub. He should be in swim shorts on the pitch.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Oh man, but they'll never do that because that would make the game fun. So I've always said for FIFA, they need to do schoolyard picks mode. This is my idea to make FIFA fun.
Yeah.
And just randomly pick a group of players and then put in there some well-known ones. Put in your Messis and stuff like that, so people know them. And then just give each player, now pick 5, one at a time, schoolyard picks.
Yeah.
Pick your team and then do 5 aside. But no, that's too much fun. It's too much fun. It's fucking have this broken career mode.
Oh, don't get me started on that career
we
mode.
We will. We'll continue. We'll talk more about Albright.
Did Albright actually give a shit about that?
No, and that's the hilarious part about this. In his own words, it's just a video game. And when someone asked him, how do you feel about being the worst ranked player in Madden this year with a rank of 50, an overall ranking of 53, his response was, well, it was 50 last year, so I'm doing okay.
He's getting better.
He didn't give a fuck, which actually makes him an exception to the rule, because according to EA, the number one complaint they have from players in all of the sports games they produce is that their stats aren't high enough.
Yeah.
And they are constantly bombarded by players, actual professional sportsmen who are multi-millionaires, about the fact their stats aren't high enough in a video game. And there are reports of people at conventions being sought out by players so they can be yelled at about their stats. And I just think that's amazing.
It's funny. I mean, it's just a little bit different, but in the NHL, they have the All-Star game.
Yes.
And that is where the best players out of the teams go when they have this charity match. And then one year they decided, we'll do a vote. People can vote for who they want to be the team captain.
Okay.
And everyone just went, this shit player called John Scott.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So everyone just voted for John Scott, who's a goon, he's an enforcer. They voted for him. Literally, like, he won the vote, and then NHL went, no, he can't make the game. You know, he's not playing in this game.
Even though it's a public vote.
Yeah.
It's so Boaty McBoatface all over again. Yeah. What should we call our boat? Well, Boaty McBoatface. You mean the RMS, like, David Attenborough? No, Boaty McBoatface.
So, like, literally, like, all the fans just kicked off to the point where NHL had to relent and let John Scott be the captain in this game.
I love when they do shit like that. So I thought you were going to talk about, like, the legend of this channel, like Mr. Wayne Gretzky himself,
the great one.
whose stats were so good that in, what is it now? Fantasy League NHL, they had to have Wayne Gretzky goals, Wayne Gretzky assists.
Yeah.
Because why would you not put him on your team? And you can only have one of the Wayne Gretzkys. Like, they had to split him into two. He was that fucking good. It's like, oh man, like, that's a character who should have max stats. If there's any characters that have max stats, it should be Wayne Gretzky and Bo fucking Jackson. Like, those two, they were just like animals of the thing. But, oh man, let's talk more about those players complaining about their stats.
So when you say that, are there any funny examples that stand out for you?
Yes, there's an article like discussing this, like people who work at EA, like about, oh man, players just never shut the fuck up about their stats. It's so annoying. And there's a great little anecdote from someone who works for the company, and they said, I was approached like, at a convention or some shit by a now retired player called Byron Leftwick, who couldn't understand why anyone in the game was faster than him and bugged me about his stats the entire time he was there, seemingly unaware of the fact that asking the same question over and over again and getting the same answer and then asking it again would indicate that you are slow in at least one regard. But I just love the idea that it's like, how can anyone be faster than me? It's a fucking video game. But make my stats higher though.
Because that's one of my biggest gripes about FIFA, because there's always been this like thing like, oh, the AI's programmed. It's programmed to win this game.
Yeah.
And like, you can have the fastest player bollocking it down the wing, and then you got 6'8" fat lad at the back who out-sprints him like for the AI. And you're like, how?
Yeah, well, isn't it a big thing though with players? Like you get, what is it, gold players or something? Like, you can release like the same version of a player but better.
Yeah.
Like you had like player of the week, and players like get really competitive in the locker room about who gets the best one.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I just think that's great. Like these multi-millionaires like bitching about their fictional stats in a video game, and then you've got just Ethan fucking Albright, the red snapper himself. So I don't give a fuck. I'm a millionaire. Why would I give a shit? I'm in the NFL. Who cares?
Why was he so terrible?
Well, this is the interesting thing because he was actually a pretty good player at the time. Like, not the best, but decent enough. And an EA representative explained to him, not that he needed to explain because he didn't care, that the reason your stats are so low is because the position you play, I think it's left snapper, doesn't exist in this version of Madden. Therefore, there was nowhere on the pitch we could put you because the one thing you excel at is not a thing the game can do.
Yeah.
So we had to basically just neuter all of your stats because you can't do anything. The one thing you're good at, you can't do in the game. And they seemingly knew this because there is one stat that Albright has in that game that is higher than anybody else's in the game, and that is team morale.
Team morale.
They gave him the highest morale of 99, so an almost perfect morale stat, seemingly as an apology for just making him so bad. And I love the idea that the worst player in that game got given the stat that means they tried the hardest.
It's just the happiest and hardest effort.
It's like, last in stats, first in fucking spirit, and I respect that, but isn't that just great? Give him the apology stat.
Yeah.
And I want to start doing that with more sports games. Whoever ends up being the worst, just give them one stat that's 99, just as an apology. Yeah, sure, we've given you overall 51, but you have got 99 pace or some shit like that.
You kind of it's good, but then bad at the same time because that 99 raised his stat to 53. You're what could it have been if he didn't have the 99?
He did not have that 99. Then again, I would argue he deserves that 99 morale stat, given that he was told, you're the worst player in Madden. Okay, that's fine. I'm still going to play my hardest. It's that guy deserves 99 morale.
Do you think his picture was the moment he was told?
I think it is. I think it's just a moment in his head. He's going, I'm going to go back to my mansion and bang my supermodel wife after I've taken this. I don't give a fuck. All these youngsters can bitch about their stats all they want. I'm going home. I'm Ethan Albright. I don't even know the guy. I think he's ace. So I mentioned FIFA career mode, and your face just dropped.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that? 'Cause I don't really play many sports games, but I do follow little silly stories like this because they are hilarious.
So in the new FIFA, they've introduced this
thing
where
FIFA 20.
FIFA 20
to date the video.
Yeah, where the happiest players play in the squad. because it's all about team morale. That's the thing this year. You have to raise team morale.
Oh man, if only Ethan Albright was there.
I know, just constantly in the squad. But that's the thing. You get your Man Cities and Man Uniteds are playing all their 17-year-old kids because they're the happiest.
Because they've just been signed to Manchester United.
So then you play career mode and you see Brighton beating Man City 5-0.
Oh, is that why? Because it's all simulated.
Yeah.
And it's simulated to play the happiest players, and it's just the fielding basically the chuckle fucks they just brought on.
It's I played Tottenham in one of my first games. It's they had Harry Kane, world quality level. And then just 10 kids behind him I've never heard of.
He's just playing with a local school. Just a charity match.
So then I've simulated a season, just couldn't be bothered to play it. And literally Man City, Man United and Tottenham all went down. And it's that's just
that doesn't
not right.
This is a game that sells itself when it's it's realism.
Yeah.
That reminds me a bit of when I was playing Fight Night one time.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get my guy to be the best. So I was ducking every single fight at sets games that I knew I could win. So that took me about 10 years into the future.
Yeah.
And I think Julio Cesar Chavez, who's famous for some of the most fights in boxing, was still boxing, but it simulated his record up to that point. And I come up against him, it's just this guy's had 1,000 fights. What? 1,000 fucking boxing fights? And he's in his 50s. It's who is this god? Just this ageless sentinel of boxing? And he whooped my ass. Because his stats were so high, so he'd been boxing for 1,000 years. I'm just fighting Imhotep in the ring. It's what do I do? It's oh man, I love shit like that in simulation games. They don't account for silly things like that.
Yeah, because that was an issue I had with Formula One, because that's my big passion, Formula One games. And until this one that's just come out, the season's just looped. And you had Fernando Alonso, who was 38, doing 20 years. So he's still racing Formula One when he's 58.
Then again, I can see it.
But it's just, now they've actually done it where drivers can retire, so it looks a bit more real.
That's the thing. That's why Julio Cesar Chavez, he's just fighting, and he's in his 80s or some shit, and he's fought every boxer in the world twice. It's before you become the champion, you must fight the ultimate boxer. You must fight the guy who, when the bell rang, that was the Big Bang, and he's been fighting ever since. Just this immortal, ageless deity who just channels all of boxing spirit into himself. It's yeah. He whooped my ass. He stopped my unstoppable zero. Of course I'm going to whoop this guy's ass. He's super old, and he's had 1,000 fights. How hard can he be? It's pretty fucking tough. It's hitting a brick wall. So I did one punch on him, and he didn't move. He just walked through my punch and haymaker me, and I got knocked out. Well, fuck me.
Ultra instinct old guy.
Just oh god, just Master Roshi in the ring.
Oh no, not Master Roshi.